Good morning, everybody. My name is Gercules, and welcome back to part 2 of the Trails and Tales update. Hopefully you guys are having a good day. So before this video starts, guys, if you haven't seen part 1 of the Trails and Tales update, I'll leave a link to it in the description. So we're starting this video, guys, in a brand new biome that has been added in 1.19. which is the Cherry Grove biome. And the way you find this is pretty similar to how you find like a meadow biome. Like half the time where a meadow biome will spawn, a Cherry Grove biome will spawn instead. So that's pretty much how you find these biomes. And there's not really any unique animals that spawn here besides sheep, pigs, and also bees spawn here. But the main article of the Cherry Grove biome itself is indeed cherry trees, which have their own unique wood set, which we're gonna discuss in a bit. And basically, like, this is one of like the most atmospheric biomes besides the lush caves. Like, as you can see, the cherry leaves actually produce particles similar to how a spore blossom does it. So cherry leaves are the second item that produces falling particles. The spore blossom was added first, which produces like green flying particles, but cherry leaves actually produce like falling leaves, which makes this biome like really atmospheric. Another thing that's unique to these is these like little bitty flowers called pink petals. Now the way you get these flowers renewably is if you place them down. Pink petals behave similar to sea pickles, where you can place 4 in a single block. And the way you get these renewably is by right-clicking with bone meal. Now also, before we cover the cherry wood and the brand new bamboo wood set, I want to take this time to test some stuff out that I missed in the last video. Like even questions that I want to answer myself, like is it possible to apply unbreaking 3 and mending on a brush? Because every time you brush a block of suspicious gravel, it takes up durability. Aha, it is possible. I actually did not know that you could do this before I started this video. So now, guys, what we're gonna do is go back to spawn. Even though we are leaving this biome quite early, it's just so nice walking around this biome. So atmospheric. This is definitely one of my favorite biomes to just like walk through and just like enjoy yourself. So now, guys, I'm gonna go back to spawn and we're gonna look at the brand new wood sets for not only cherry wood, but also bamboo. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, bamboo has gotten its own brand new wood set. Now, the way you get bamboo blocks is different to how you like make other stuff out of wood, because one of the differences I want to say is that instead of a boat that you make with bamboo, it's a raft, and it doesn't have like the little quirky edges that a normal boat has. Because like a raft is a flat surface, whereas a boat is kind of like a bowl shape. But what I love most about the bamboo set is the trap door. Like the trap door is like so cool looking. So the way you craft bamboo blocks is actually like quite expensive. So you craft bamboo blocks in a 3x3. It used to only require 2x2, but now you need 9 bamboo to make a single bamboo block, and 1 block of bamboo makes 2 bamboo planks. A couple of unique blocks that you can do with bamboo is actually make something called bamboo mosaic. Now, I'm not entirely sure how you make it. Okay, so in order to make bamboo mosaic, you make 2 bamboo slabs to make 1 block. So it's kind of like how you make a chiseled block out of like stone materials. And it has a like different block pattern compared to like normal bamboo planks. It kind of has this like little checkerboard pattern, which would make for a great floor. And of course, guys, as we saw earlier, there is the cherry wood set. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the pink color, because I'm probably not going to be really building much this color, to be honest, because I don't really like bright pink. The pink color I'm more of a fan of is like the color of like pink concrete, which is like a hot pink. But when it comes to cherry leaves, I'm 100% going to build with this, because this is a cool block that produces particles. But in terms of the wood set, it's not very cool looking. I mean, if you're going to build anything like princess themed, then like, sure. Personally, I'm not like a huge fan of this. Now, of course, as you can see in these wood sets, you can see that there is a brand new wood item called a hanging sign. And this is a new addition to 1.20. There's also one for bamboo, but not only for cherry and bamboo. There's one for every single type. And signs have also gotten a huge update. I'll explain what you can do. So normally when you wanted to like edit something on a sign, so let's take a mangrove sign right here. So you place it down, you type in like random letters, and then you can no longer like correct like typos. You would have to break the sign and start again. No longer. They've added it so that you can right click the sign, by accidentally do a typo, and then like if you accidentally exit out, you can right click it and then correct any typo that you've accidentally made. But it gets more interesting. You can add text now on both sides. And what makes it even more interesting, let's say if I dye like the sign and then apply glow ink sacks, it actually doesn't apply it on the same side, which means you can have both sides of the sign and have it different colors. And all of this applies to the hanging sign. And also, hanging signs have 3 hanging stages. So there's this stage when it's hanging underneath a full block with the 2 chains connecting to it. If you place it on the side of a block, it has this little post right here. And if it's hanging underneath a narrow block, then it's going to have the 2 chains connected to like the fence or like chain or wall. But the way you craft these is actually quite expensive. It takes 6 stripped logs. It can't be normal logs. It has to be stripped and 2 chains. With the addition of this, you can make 6. The trapdoors in the mangrove wood, like this screams like East Asian style builds. I'm not going to say Chinese style builds because Japan, Korea, Vietnam all use like the pagoda style, I think, but just maybe like slightly different. And with that just basically wraps it up for 1.20 Trails and Tales, except for a couple more things, because it has been a few changes / a couple of generic blocks that have indeed been added. So as you can see in the mob head list, there is a brand new mob head, which actually has some interesting redstone property to it. So yes, as you can see, a piglin head has been added. Because before, the way you got a piglin head was from the more mob heads vanilla tweaks by Zumavoid. It was just a cube. It wasn't like 3D like this one. But if you place a piglin head on a redstone block, like the little ears flap, which is kind of interesting. But mob heads in general have gotten a brand new change. So if I were to grab a note block, watch what happens if I put a creeper head on it, and if I right click the note block, it actually makes a mob noise. And then you can make like a very noisy machine with this. If you like put it on like an observer clock. So this is skeleton. Is there anything for the player head? Oh, there isn't. Interesting. So like nothing for the player head. So that's wither skeleton. Dragon. I'm not gonna like make a grief machine with an observer clock because that would be way too loud. Well, you can't always do that. And you can do this with a piglin head as well. Zombie head, and yeah. you get the general idea. And the piglin head you obtain the same way as like all the other heads. You have a charge creeper blow it up, it'll drop the head. But then the question comes, what is easier, bringing a charge creeper into the nether or bringing a piglin into the overworld and then doing it quick enough so that the charge creeper can kill the piglin before it gets zombified? I'm gonna leave that question up to you guys for debate. And then I think the last thing there is to mention is that 2 brand new redstone items have been added. Normally every like major update we see like 1 or 2 brand new redstone features, because in 1.16 we saw the target block get added, 1.17 lightning rod, 1.19 sculk sensor, and in 1.20 we have 2 new ones, which is the calibrated sculk sensor and the chiseled bookshelf. So I think let's start with the chiseled bookshelf first. So the chiseled bookshelf is just like a normal bookshelf, but you can interact with it and you can place enchanted books, normal books, or book and quill. And depending on where you face in the bookshelf is where you placed the book. And there's also like a unique sound if you place an enchanted book in. Listen closely. And there's also an advancement if we get a comparator out and we just place it next to the bookshelf. We get an advancement called the power of books, which says read the power signal of a chiseled bookshelf using a comparator. And honestly, I'm so glad that they've added like a chiseled bookshelf. You can't really silk touch and keep all the books inside. Like it's similar to a chest, like once you break it, all the books fall out. But I will say there is unique oak wood patterns that you can do with this. My only criticism is that it only comes in oak, like there's no like wood variants for the chiseled bookshelf. That's my only criticism for this item. I just want more variants of this block, like a mangrove, a birch one. I just want to see something like that. And then the last redstone item is the calibrated sculk sensor. So the difference between this and a normal sculk sensor is that it has this little crystal and it has like this little output supposed to indicate like where redstone goes, but for some reason when I walk around it, it doesn't like activate. And you may be wondering what the difference is between a calibrated sculk sensor and a normal sculk sensor. As you can see very closely, the calibrated sculk sensor has less delay, like it lights up for less time than a normal sculk sensor does, because I think a normal sculk sensor has a 2-second cooldown, whereas a calibrated one only has a 1-second cooldown. If I'm going to be honest, I don't really want to use the calibrated sculk sensor for redstone purposes. I want to use this in building. So let's say if you put like an end crystal on top of that. Oh wait, you can't really do that. So let's say you have an end crystal like that, you destroy the obsidian and you replace it with a calibrated sculk sensor. I actually like this little feature because it looks like the amethyst crystal is like powering the like end crystal. I'm gonna destroy that really quick even though I'm destroying the set. And one thing I did forget to mention is that there is something that I'm not redstone 5-headed enough to like mess with this. So what I'm trying to say is if you place an amethyst block next to a sculk sensor and it makes noise, then the amethyst block actually makes a unique noise called resonating. Basically, what this will do is it'll carry out in the line, and the longer the line of resonating amethyst blocks go, the more high-pitched it gets. So listen closely. But at this point, I'm thinking we're getting like way too redstone technical for me to like figure out like what to do with all of that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm wondering if you can like find like the cherry blossom sapling from the watering trader, because I know you can find like all the other saplings from this guy. Now, one cool function I really like with the raft is, like I said, unlike a boat, it doesn't have those curved edges. It's a complete flat surface, which means it's a really cool way to like properly display mobs without them like moving, and it's especially useful for Endermen, I think, because that way you can display Endermen without them teleporting around. It does kind of look weird because he's like sitting on air, but like, I mean, what can you do really? I think it's kind of funny, to be honest. There is a bug that's been around for 11 years that's actually finally been fixed. So previously, there was a bug where landing on slime blocks, on the edge of slime blocks, gave you fall damage. You have to land in the middle. But if we switch our game mode to survival, that, of course, is fixed. I mean, you still take fall damage if you like gain enough height and land on a normal block. So guys, I think that is where we're gonna wrap up this video. I rate this Minecraft update like 9 out of 10, like in terms of like everything that's been added. There's a couple things I would like to see change though. Editing signs feature is like really awesome. And that actually reminds me, there is something that I did forget to mention about signs. I just remembered this. So let's say you have a sign and you're on a multiplayer server. Like anybody can right click it and mess up your message. But if you wanna permanently keep your text the way it is and don't have anybody change it, unless you break the sign, you can wax a sign. You can't edit it anymore. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little series of me covering everything about the Trails and Tales update. If I have missed anything, then of course let me know in the comments. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please do drop a like rating. Consider subscribing so you don't miss out on future videos. Comment below what your favorite 1.20 feature is, and I'll see you all in the next video. See you guys later.